Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Fuse News. Voting has now closed for this year's Student Union elections, which includes the student referendum on whether we should keep the current university leadership team. The referendum, which was handed to the Students' Union by students last year, along with signatures, which enabled it to be taken into consideration alongside the elections. This will be the first time in the University of Manchester's 197-year history that a referendum to remove those in senior positions has taken place. During the week, MMG has hosted lunchtime updates for the elections, and on Wednesday's programme, I spoke to Joe Wall from the Nancy Out campaign, who explained to me what the referendum was asking of the university. So just as a start, Joel, just to start us off with people who are tuning in right now, what is the Nancy Out campaign? You know, what are the main focuses of this?
So our campaign is obviously it's pushing for Nancy to resign, but we're also pushing for other members of the student leadership. So April McCahan, Simon Mary West, Patrick Hackett, and Luke Giorgio, so them to also step down. And we're pushing for more democratic changes in the way that university is run.
Okay, thank you. So why should people vote Nancy out?
Well, I'm sure most people watching will be aware of the fences incident where Nancy and the senior management fenced in university halls. But there's also been a whole array of problems from the management. You know, there's been racial profiling on campus. Nancy lied about it then on TV. There's been poor student mental health support. Funding cuts for PhD students. You know, the list goes on and on of kind of poor management.
So you kind of reflected on it in an answer to a previous question. So why is it in this campaign that, despite the fact it's called Nancy Out, it actually removes the complete leadership team at the top of the university? And then, for example, people like April McMahon have only been in their job since 2019, and that's only not even 2 academic years yet. And whereas Nancy has had the job for 10 years. So with the name Nancy Out, people do need to understand that it comes with a lot more. Would you be able to reflect a bit more on that and why the rest of the leadership team should also leave?
So Nancy is one of the biggest offenders, and there's a reason that so many people know her name and recognise what Nancy Out is about. But it is lots of the things they do is done as a team, as senior management. And even though April has only been in her post, for a couple of years, she had a similar thing in her previous university. They didn't like her management at all. There's all sorts of problems coming in, so it's not new, any of it.
Okay, thank you. So like I said there, Nancy Rothwell's now been Vice Chancellor of the university for 11 years this year, and was only Deputy Chancellor for 6 months before that. Why is it now that it's become the time that Nancy should go?
Well, lots of these problems have been going on for years, really, but I think the coronavirus pandemic has really sort of brought these to the forefront and made people aware of them.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, she is going to lose her job, which she has worked for. She's worked in academia all her life. She's climbed to the top to get to that position. Do you think that it is a bit unfair that we are going to strip these people of all of their jobs?
Well, I don't think so. If she had been in any other career, had she made this many mistakes, she would have been fired a long time before now. And also, obviously, this is her job, but she has been given a mansion by the university. She does have a 3-figure salary. This is not just a McDonald's worker. This is, one of the most highly paid people in the country.
Thank you. And you picked up on my next question, actually, there, regarding her salary. There have been multiple comments throughout your campaign about the fact that she earns too much, or the fact that she doesn't earn enough. She earns too much for the way she's worked her job. Do you think that then this should change for the new person in the new job, despite the fact that they are doing the same position? I mean, we looked at some studies, some rank tables, and the University of Manchester is actually 37th on a league board of 42 when it comes to the salary of the person at the top. So do you think it should decrease even more?
Well, obviously, perhaps in relation to other universities, it's not as much, but this is still more than the Prime Minister of the UK earns, and you think, how much more are these university vice chancellors doing that the Prime Minister's not doing? Why should they be earning so much more?
Thank you. And just my final question, one argument that has been raised in the removal of the leadership team, we could just get someone similar, someone who's got the same views, someone who has the same ideas, who may run the university the same way. Are we just going to revolt and protest until we get someone that everybody likes? And in another question, which is kind of related to this, what would then happen if the student body votes to get rid of Nancy Rothwell, but the trustees decide to go against that?
So in regards to your first question, part of our demands is elected positions on the Senate and for a more representative board of governors, so that we don't just get the same person coming in and again, and that the students have say over how the university is run and who gets elected.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your time there, Jordan. Thanks for answering my questions. Thank you very much. As I previously mentioned, the ballot for the elections closed last night at 5 p.m. after opening on Monday at 10 a.m. You can tune in to MMG and SU platforms this evening from 6 p.m. to find out your new executive officers team for 2021 to 2022, as well as the result of that all-important referendum. Now, also in the news this week, on Monday night, the much anticipated interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex was aired in the UK on ITV after airing on CBS in the US the night previous. Now, because of this, much of the interview had already been seen throughout the day on various daytime programmes, as well as a follow-up interview with Oprah Winfrey on CBS this morning. The programme was viewed by more than half of the people watching television across the UK at the time, with an average audience of 11.1 million and 54% share between 9 and 11, along with another 2.2 million viewers on the ITV hub. The interview has brought to light several conversations that were held between the royal couple and the firm, in which Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, revealed that there had been concerns over the skin tone of their firstborn, Archie. When questioned by this on a reporter whilst out on duty, Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, said, "We're very much not a racist family." There were also concerns over the Duchess of Sussex's mental health, which she described in the interview with Oprah. This then led to claims of disbelief and falsehood from journalist Piers Morgan on the ITV breakfast programme Good Morning Britain. These comments raised over 40,000 complaints to the Broadcast Regulatory Board Ofcom, who revealed they were investigating the claims and complaints. After Tuesday morning's programme, ITV announced that Piers Morgan had left Good Morning Britain, sparking much debate online between those who were and weren't in favour of Morgan. It has since come to light later this week that the Duchess of Sussex herself has made a complaint to ITV about Morgan and his words towards her. Now, Pippa's got the latest on a case from down the country.
Thanks for that, Tom. Yes, now for the latest update on the Sarah Everard case. Human remains have been found in the Kent Woodland area, and concerns have been raised that this is Sarah Everard, a 33-year-old woman who was last seen on the 3rd of March, walking home on a main road at 9:30 p.m. in bright running gear. It is unclear for whether she made it to her home. Detectives have yet to confirm the identity of the remains. Worryingly, a serving Met police officer was arrested, as well as a woman, on the grounds of assisting an offender on Tuesday. Said police officer was off duty at the time of Sarah Everard's disappearance. The news of the disappearance has sparked fear, shock, and outrage in women everywhere. Sarah Everard, described as the woman who did everything right, has raised the spotlight on the dangers of walking alone at night. Student Libby shared her thoughts on this.
I think I speak for most women when I say that the news of Sarah Everard has hit hard. Social media feels like a very draining place to be at the moment. The news that every single day you wake up and see yet another woman that's sharing her experience of being sexually harassed. It's not rare, and it happens to every single one of us. But the fact that she did absolutely everything that every little girl grows up knowing to do, wearing bright clothes, walking in a well-lit road, CCTV cameras are near, and texting people to let them know where you are, and yet this still happened to her, makes me feel incredibly unsafe. I don't know what else to do, and I don't really want to go out.
That was Libby Jackson speaking there. Following this, the annual Reclaim the Night campaign will be taking place next week despite the pandemic. Reclaim the Night is an annual campaign against sexual harassment and gender-based violence. Usually students would participate in a march from Owens Park to the Students' Union. Video footage depicts the march in previous years.
Yes and no is no! Say it once, say it again! No excuse for violent men! Say it once, say it again! No excuse for violent.
Reclaim the Night has said, no woman should ever fear for her safety on our streets, and the devastating events of recent days have shown how important it is that we continue to raise our voices against sexual harassment. While COVID-19 restrictions mean we can't come together to march this year, we will still unite to raise awareness, amplify the voices of women, and demand action from local authorities to make Manchester streets safer. This year, from the 15th to 19th of March, the organisation will be raising awareness for the cause via a series of online events, fundraising activities, and campaign actions. For more information on Reclaim the Night and the events being held next week, head to the Students' Union website. And finally, the University of Manchester has announced that the Students' Union building and other university spaces will be opening again from Monday the 15th of March. Following this, the main library has extended its opening hours, with the new closing time being midnight on most evenings. This will be a welcome change for many students. That's all from us this week at Fuse News at the University of Manchester. Tune in next Friday for our weekly news update, and don't forget you can catch the SU election results tonight at 6 p.m. on Fuse TV and the Students' Union Facebook and YouTube pages. Goodbye.